Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. It feels like this week has flown by super quick, and I'm not sure that I have all that much to talk about. So we'll see how we go. It might end up being a short one, but as soon as you say that, I'll end up on some tangent about something. The big farm thing I did was actually not even that big. It was to get a hay bale put in for the sheep. So they got a little bit of green grass out in this little area for, like half an hour to an hour while we did that. And I checked on the trees in their paddock, cleaned out and refilled their water baths, and then allowed them back in with a brand new bale of hay. They then literally were sticking their faces right in it. They've now got hay everywhere, but they are clearly enjoying that fresh hay. I'm still giving them their little treat of grain, but not every day now. And they seem to be doing really well. Honestly, I don't have anything else to talk about farm wise. So I've been busy this week dyeing up the first batches of my Christmas yarn to start to ship out. So I have done some batches on my DK sparkle base, as well as more on my sock sparkle base. So these next few days I will be scanning them up all nice and neat. I'm not going to rescan these so that they'll be shipped with like the section of color as the chunk like this so you can see it. So I'll be scanning them up this weekend. I will get the labels done. And if you have placed an order, they will be going out early next week. So you should get notification via Australia Post that your parcel is on the way. So that's how I'm doing that pre-order. So I've had enough come through that I can get those first few batches dyed up. So thank you to everyone who has placed an order. It's been drying over here all this past week, and now I'm ready to do that first batch of shipping. I also have to start thinking about my market setup for Romsey, which is on the 14th of September. It's coming around pretty quick. So I need to double check a few colorways and get a few things dyed up for that. So that might be this coming week's job, as well as starting to decide on what my display will be for that market. It's nice to sort of change things up a little bit, rotate where I put things so that I can highlight particular things within my shop. First to what I am wearing this week, this is the ankle jumper from the 52 weeks of Easy Knits. It is a like half sleeve, round yoke. Just it's really simple, just texture, just like garter ridges every once in a while. So it was really easy to knit. I'm probably going to take it off because it is actually getting a little bit warm over here in the shed with the sun coming through the glass. It's a lovely afternoon and it's nice and still. We've had cold winds the past few days, but today is just absolutely spectacular. I knit it out of Mirasol yarns in the seaweed colorway. It's kind of got some flex in it. I'll see if I can show you the sleeve. It's got really lovely stitch definition as well. It is a crepe style yarn or a blown kind of yarn. So it is much lighter than a worsted weight yarn if it was just like solid. But yeah, it is getting a little on the warm side to be wearing it right now. So yeah, I knit quite a lot of things out of that 52 weeks of Easy Knits. I've knit a hat, this jumper, I've knit the True Stripes jumper twice. And I think I've made one other thing out of it as well. So in terms of a book purchase, I feel like I've really made the most of that book, and I'm sure that I will delve back into it again over the coming weeks, months, years, all of that kind of thing. Oh, the comfy was the other thing I knit from it. It just popped into my head. I also don't feel like I've done a whole lot of knitting this week, like even less than the week before. For a while there, I felt like I was really focused and had a lot to share and was doing a lot of knitting. And these past few weeks have really slowed down. Not that I'm not enjoying the projects that I have, but for some reason, I just haven't been as productive on them. There's been a little bit of procrastinating, kind of sitting with it on my lap, thinking about it rather than the actual doing, or looking on Ravelry pages to try and see if I can do it a particular way or whatever. So Let me show you my current projects that I've shared with you the past few weeks. First, the Melanie, and I thought I would have it finished to share with you this week, or and have it blocking. Maybe by next week. Honestly, I should. So it is out of the Liasom yarn in the basalt colorway, which is a grey in their pole merino wool, and the pink is a tencel merino from Fiberific. The colors look like this. So I'm holding those together. I have now finished the second sleeve, which literally it took me an afternoon after I'd taken so long to do this first sleeve. Seriously, that's a procrastinating gets me every single time. I get analysis paralysis about how long to do things, how many stitches to pick up, all of that kind of stuff. And it's kind of happened with the cuff on this as well. I probably have about 3 or 4 centimeters left to knit, and then I am done. So maybe I should sit this afternoon in the sun just over here and get that done, because I really do want to get it finished. It's looking really lovely, and there's not going to be that many more cool days to be able to wear this. So I really do need to crack on and get it done. The second thing that I've been working on this week is the winter song that I'm making in the Sky Sail yarn from Pirate Pearl. And it is a 70% merino, 30% Belgian linen. It is a 5-ply, and it is in the My Lover's Eyes colorway. And I'm alternating skeins. I've got 2 skeins going at a time. And I have done a bit more of the body. I think I was just at the start of, just after the hem last week. And I think I was calling it lace, and it's not lace, it's actually just cables. So I've done the cabled hem, and I have been back and forth about what to do in terms of the sizing for this, and I think that's part of my stumbling block in terms of all of my knitting, to be completely honest. I wasn't sure, and I talked about this last week. It had you cast on a large number of stitches, and then after you do the hem, it gets you to do a rapid round of a lot of decreases. So it feels like you're going in very, like you're cinching it in quite a lot. And I had originally cast on the 3rd or 4th size, thinking that that was going to be the whole width all the way up. And when I tried it on, like I put a cord through it and tried it on, and it was way, way, way too big. So I pulled that out and ended up casting on for the smallest size, not realizing that I was then going to have to decrease more at like after that hem. And it doesn't, to me, feel like this hem is really pulling in. It's not like ribbing that really like cinches really tightly. And I think what I figured out is I think it's because of the linen wool blend that I'm using, whereas a pattern is called for just a wool. And I find that my twisted rib kind of just sits there. Like it doesn't really cinch in all that tight. It's actually reasonably loose. So like that's pre-blocking, and it's just sitting like really nicely. It's not doing anything weird. It's not scrunching in a lot. It's not pulling out. So I am basically just going to now knit straight. What I did is, so my cast on number was for the smallest size, and then rather than decrease it a whole lot, I decreased down to the closest size, whatever that was in terms of the patterning for when you get to the top. So I literally end up only decreasing 4 stitches, so just 2 on either side, and now I'm just going to knit straight. What I will do is once I get a bit more of the body done, I will try it on and see how it fits. I'm likely to wear it a bit more cropped than the pattern called for, so it probably won't even be sitting on my hips. It will probably start at my waist, and I've got sort of bigger hips, and then my waist and up to my chest is pretty square. So I don't think that I'm going to have any issues in terms of needing to increase to get more space up in this area up here. So I'm just going to go with this and see how it ends up. If I have to rip back, I have to rip back. But I feel like I just have to commit and go and not just sit there and think about it too much. But I'm loving the yarn and I'm loving the color, and the stitch pattern on the hem here is really beautiful. And then you've got more stitch detail up the top. So there's some quiet, just round and round knitting for quite a while now, which is going to be easy to just do without thinking about too much. The only thing is remembering to do my alternate my skeins. So you've got my yarn here and I've got my working yarn over here. But it's nice and neat, and it's happening on the little purl ridge here along the side, and it's got a little matching purl ridge on this side. So it's nice and clean to do that switch over of skeins as well. And I've been working on a random small side project. My nephew is going to Thailand in the school holidays for a service project. They're going to be at a school where they will be building facilities for them, and they are going to be taking gifts for each of the kids at the school. And my sister committed to making over 100 wristbands as little souvenirs, and she has 3D printed these little koala buttons to go on it. So it's like a little, use a little loop to hook it to make it stay. Now she is crocheting hers, but she said, can you please help me make some? And I said, sure. I would much rather knit than crochet, even though knitting takes longer. For me, that's a project that I can do at night when I'm not feeling like doing much else, and I don't really have to think about it. It doesn't matter what colors I use, and they, just churn out a few to help her with her numbers. So I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles and a lot of sock yarn. I have this like sack of tiny little scraps of just kind of, if I go like this, you can probably see just a whole lot of little balls of yarn from previous projects, or I bought like tiny little minis for, just some color here and there. I've made 2 granny stripe blankets out of most of these colors already, and now I just have bits and pieces left over. Some of them are only good for like a tiny little bit, and so I've been able to really use every single scrap in these. So far, how many have I made so far? So I only started this a couple of days ago, and I've just been doing this instead of my other projects for the past few days. Where am I up to? They just keep coming. I didn't realize I had so many. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm just knitting. I'm casting on about 46-ish stitches, just knitting garter stitch back and forth, changing some colors here and there when I run out, or just putting a stripe in. And then when I get to the end, I bind off, and then I'm just doing a crochet chain on one end and connecting it back through. So I do have some ends to weave in, but it's just been fun to play with these tiny little bits of color to create these fun little strips. So that's what's been taking up my time knitting wise the past few days. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.